Hi. So I am curious that I struggle with this. So, like, if your work calls you on your day off to come in, like, how many of you go in? Um, because I would always drop everything and run in for my what. It doesn't matter who the employer is. It's not that. It's more about my personal work ethic and putting other people and things before me. So when stuff like this arises, I'm curious, like, does everybody else feel the same level of like, oh my God, I need to, I have to? Is that guilt? I don't know. Like, what is that? Where does that come from? But I believe in like employment's not a dictatorship. To me, it's like it's a relationship. It's a give and a take. And my employer, I'm not really sure how I want to navigate this, but um, it's a give and a take. So they give, I take, and vice versa. To me, it's a relationship, and so I always am mindful of like, okay, so am I asking for too much time off? Am I asking for like I'm mindful of I'm just mindful of the work capacity, the load, etc. Like I've been there over a year. In December was the first time I called out. I was sick in December of 24, and I had to call out twice. I never called out from this particular job, and very rarely over the years have I called out of work. Anyways, um, I will show up sick. I will show up broken. I will show up on my knees crawling, basically. And that's, I think, a detriment to myself. So on days where, you know, could I have moved things around? I could have, but it's like, that's this whole thing of self-discovery and this journey of self-care and love. It's finding the balance. And I'm gonna this is gonna bother me a lot because I was told you suit up, you show up, you're dependable, you're reliable, and that was ingrained in me from like a young age because my parents did have their own business. Um, and even if they didn't, I think that they would still instill that in me because both of my parents are perfectionists to a degree. Um, I think, wiser through the years, through experience as well. But growing up, it was always just that grind. And so, I have this need to want to be there for everybody and fulfill everyone's like need. And it's like, hold on. I need to fulfill my own needs and so forth. So it's been interesting unraveling these last few months. Um, but still, I feel like if I say no, I feel like I let them down, right? And they probably couldn't give two shits whether I came in or not. I don't know. They're just trying to run a business, right? As we're trying to work in a business, they're trying to run a business. And, having seen my parents run a business, I kind of understand the back end of that. But the need to always be dependable and always be reliable and like the one extreme, I'm trying to find the balance because often lately my life seems to be on one end to the other and there's no calm balance. Um, so while a piece of me feels like I should have like rolled over backwards and done whatever I needed to do for the betterment of where I work, because I do take pride in the job I have and where I work and what I do, um, and being there for people. And then there's also the other swing of being there for myself and honoring myself. And like I said, I could have moved some things around. I could have maybe done something, but I don't know. And it feels really odd for me to say no because of a couple other reasons. I feel like, oh my gosh, I'm not good enough. I'm going to get in trouble. I need to always be on for my bosses. And nobody's put that expectation upon myself but me, right? They're not saying, yeah, if you don't come in right now today, like you're fired, because I think that's like illegal. But, um, you know, I don't, I mean, if it was my scheduled shift, of course, you know, there would be repercussions, but having it be my scheduled day off, um, I think the most they can is request, right? Um, but yeah, and then that ties into relationships. Any relationship you have is a give and a take. So I think that's where I lie. I'm always trying to be mindful. Am I taking too much? Because they are generous with their time. Where I work, they seem to be very family oriented. Holidays off, you know, and for the kind of business I'm in, most people travel and go. Um, you know, I'm a massage therapist, so most people on their time off, especially during the holidays, they travel and get massages and stuff like that. So for my employer to take time and say, hey, no, we take off these holidays and we close at this time because we respect family. I love that about this place. Um, you know, so anyways, it doesn't matter about the place, but it more lies with myself. So I'm going to ruminate on this for a little while today. It's not going to take over my day, but that's how true, like, that's how true I want to be to myself and to everyone else. And I think that lies some of the problem is I want to honor myself, but I also want to honor others, right? But sometimes you can't do both, right? You can have respect for others, right? I respectfully decline that I'm able to come in today on my day off. Um, I didn't quite say it like that. Yeah, so why is it that I put expectations upon myself? Because now I'm like, oh, well, I could have, like I said, I've repeated this, what, 2 or 3 times already. You know, I could have rearranged some things, I could have gone in, but excuse me, it's all about the balance. And I feel like when I don't live up to other people's expectation, or I don't, like, I'm not there for it. And like I said, I'm just using my job as an example because that's something that happened just a moments, you know, ago. Um, but a relationship, it doesn't matter what kind of relationship it is. I feel like I need to be there. And so when I'm not there, and I'm taking time for self and self-care, I don't need to state any health issues on this video. I don't need to explain to my employer or anybody else as to, you know, any other health issue going on. Maybe, I mean, if it were to impede my normal work schedule, certainly I would inform my employer. But, you know, on my day off, when I'm dealing with some health issues and, you know, maybe going in, suiting up and showing up and going in is not in my best interest. So yeah, it's a struggle, because like I said, I will go to work sick. I will go to work, crawling. Um, but I'm learning that, you know, first of all, if I'm not my best self, I'm not my best self for others, right? Um, so although, you know, we can go through the motions, I can go through the motions, I can show up, I can do a pretty decent job. You know, if I'm not 100% myself, I feel like I can, you know, still do a good job. I hope to, because I take pride in what I do. It doesn't matter what I do. I take pride in the things that I do. Um, yeah, so it just really got me thinking, like, how much of it, how much of what, like, if I said yes to my employer, how much of that would be a yes because I truly feel comfortable and capable going in where I'm at in my body in life today, versus going in and suiting up and showing up because it's what's expected or expected, right? Because I don't know what their anticipation expectation is of me. Like I said, they're running a business, right? So, how much weight of other people's expectations do we place on ourselves? I thought it was a lot less than what apparently I'm processing. So I thought it was a lot less than I'm giving rise to it now. Because my job, it's no longer my identity. I know I've spoken about when I was getting sober, and before that, excuse me, I'm very sleepy. I haven't been sleeping good. Anyways, my job has been my identity through the years. And while my career and my job is part of me, it is not me. And I think I'm now more able to healthily, is that a word? Separate um, the health of me and my well-being and the health and productivity of my job. Um, Speaking of jobs, it's just so weird, right? How we have this society that we pick a trade, we pick something that we're hopefully good at, hopefully we love to do it, um, but we pick this thing that we sign up to do and exchange this fucking paper money bullshit, right? It just seems that society got constructed like who, like, I know, like, I don't know history very well, but I assume that, bartering, trading things was a form of currency. Um, so, like, when did money become a thing? I'm curious about that. I do like history and stuff like that. I just don't watch the History Channel and stuff like that, but I do like to learn about things like this. It's very intriguing. So somebody somewhere along the lines, right, they traded something for something and there became the barter system, right? Because I guess someone decided that everything's not worth being free, right? You share, I share. What a fucking concept. But no, you give me and I give you. Um, so then somewhere along the line, money, right, became a thing. Don't think, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a history person. But I don't think the first money was paper. I think it wasn't it coin or some gold or silver? And then it became like what, coin and paper. Um, what if our societies had gone a different direction? And I mean, here's one, right? What if instead of giving something and getting something that we gave and we gave and we gave, right? Um, I don't know. You want to bake a cake. This person has eggs, and then this person has flour, and this person has that, and you have something to offer these people as well. So everyone has something to give everyone, right? Um, like, what does that look like going into a grocery store? Fuck, I don't even know how that would work in modern day times, right? Because that wouldn't make much sense. That wouldn't make much sense, right? So, if we weren't on some kind of monetary barter system and people just freely did and gave, do you still think people would give so freely? So I do wonder about these things. Like our society and life could have gone like a completely different way. So what does that look like in a world that is free from the have-tos, free from, I don't know, this all started with going into work on your day off. Um, and not you, but me going into work on my day off and not going in and, kind of trying to find the avenue of balance. Um, and that, like, truly has been my life these last definitely couple of months. Um, Things are settling a bit more for me. My body is not so flight, fight, or freeze. Trauma, PTSD has subsided quite a bit. Um, so where was I going with that? I don't know. I feel very sleepy. I haven't been sleeping well, and that's okay. Um, So I'm just navigating this whole new role of life for myself. And I do honestly feel guilty for not saying yes to my employer. Now, had that been a friend who needed something, I might have maybe not felt so much guilt, but I feel like it's expected of me at my place of employment. And this has no bearing on them whatsoever. I think this it could be a childhood wound growing up in the family of people who owned their own business, right? I mean, even on the days that I was sick as a kid, I would go to the shop and be, in that environment, work environment, which I'm not really sure where this is going, but um, maybe somehow it got ingrained in me that it's like you go in no matter what, because that's what my mom did. She went into she stayed home. She suffered, still suffers from migraines, but she suffered horribly um, in my teenage years. I felt for her. Wow, I need a minute. I think I felt for her in ways that I allowed myself to detach from, because, at that age, I did not have the capacity to process the information I have. Um, I feel like I lost my mom very early on, and this is new territory, new realizement. There's a new word. She was like sick on the weekends, right? Didn't really have a supportive husband, in the sense, I think he, everyone does the best they can at the time, I think. So I think he maybe, I can't say what he wanted, but my observation was that she could have been met with some more compassion. And I hope that I gave that to her. But, when you have those migraines, there's sometimes nothing that can be done for you. It just has to ride out. I wish I could go and give that woman comfort and peace, and wrapped in love and supported and given some wisdom on maybe which avenue to follow to help her physically, in this world. Because I too started to suffer from migraines, but I, was able to navigate and figure out what I need to do to prevent. I'm very yawning today. What I needed to do to prevent. I researched, like, why am I deficit in this, whatever vitamin, is it perimenopause? Is it, we don't talk about, I know people are starting to talk about menopause more, but, my mom she wasn't overly, speaking about menopause that I remember. So hopefully I can finish up with my mom and her headaches, and that she wasn't present in a lot of my life in the teenage years. I'm starting to feel very heady, like I'm like flying off. So I'm gonna like put my feet on the ground. I'm gonna kind of ground myself. This isn't easy to talk about, and I didn't obviously realize I needed to process it. So thank you, the wisdom that be. I remember as a kid going down to, I think, Lantana, and the shops off of maybe Ocean, like little shops, like in a canopied treed area. I don't know, like my mom and I would always go like shopping and stuff on the weekends and hang out, and then I don't know, like even in middle school, like we would hang out, and then things changed, and I think she was more sickly, and maybe I shifted, being in high school, having friends. I don't even remember. I really rely upon my friends at that time in my life to tell me what kind of person was I. They say I was a nice, kind, laughing person, somebody who always had fun. That's good. Because I don't remember those times as vividly as other people do. But the realization that I lost my mom, I think, in ways that I didn't realize until this moment that you watched unfolding, that so absent parents, and things that unfolded in my life, I feel like it's just been like a swirling. It reminds me of the Tasmanian devil, and doesn't like the earth spin around him like a tornado. it feels like that in a lot of senses. Like I've just been wildly spinning out of control. Um, but I didn't realize it. And I was so able to be authentically me somehow through all of it. And then I lost myself. And then I saw sparks, and then I lost myself. And suddenly this whole thing about work is drifting away like a piece of light wood in the ocean going back out to sea. Um, yeah, so the guilt for not showing up to my job, I think it's deeply ingrained. And while I do want to be there, and I do love every one of them, um, despite behaviors that have been going on around me, I do appreciate and love every individual I work with. We're all just fumbling through this fucking thing called life, and we all deserve, to be happy and free and loved as we are. And I feel like I'm doing that. I'm fucking trying my hardest to be a positive role model for people. And maybe people don't want to even be having a role model, and that's fine too. So it's like I don't really go and have a hidden agenda anywhere. I just am hopefully being myself. And if that's something that resonates with you, that's pretty cool, because I know how I've appreciated it over the years when I can really look at somebody and resonate and be like, well, fuck, I am not alone. Somebody else maybe thinks the same crazy thoughts that I have, or, I can resonate and identify with something that they said. And it just, in a world that we're taught that, we're taught to disconnect from ourselves, in my opinion. We're taught that the relationship that we have with ourselves isn't the most important, that it's outside of us somewhere, and that's a bunch of bullshit, right? So fuck that. Fuck the patriarchy. Embracing women, and not that one sex is better than the other, and I don't know where this is going. But for so long, the world has had it so fucking wrong. We've all been fooled. Well, I mean, maybe not all. Matrix vibes coming through. So yeah, so I'm going to try to let this go probably many times, because it does make my heart hurt when I'm not showing up for other people, regardless if it's an entity like a job, or it's people at the job, or it's friends, but I think I started to say, like, if my best friend would say, hey, I really need to, can you do this for me? Depending on the weight of what it is, I mean, can you show up and be here at this time? And it's like, no, self-care. I actually have more ability to have compassion for myself in that personal relationship than I would a job. So what is that? Did society teach us that we place our job above ourselves? In the hierarchy of needs, which is wildly fascinating. And it has nothing to do with liking or not liking, because I do love my job and I love where I work. It's just the expectation, and I think it's an expectation I place on myself. So thank you for taking this unfolding journey with me. It was wildly fascinating, and shed some light on a mother wound I didn't realize was really prevalent. So hopefully I can continue to dive into that and kind of uncover it. I did feel for my mom, I really did, but at the same time I didn't have the capacity to help her. I think I helped her as best as I could as a kid. As a kid. As a fucking kid, yeah. What did I do on the weekends as a kid? I don't even remember. I don't know. I remember we had Nintendo, and I would be angry and throwing the remote control down at my mom would say we ruined her hundreds of dollars worth of table. Which, sorry, Mom. I know my mom has great taste, expensive taste, but great nonetheless. And I learned how to unleash anger from my brother. Yeah. And I learned how to tame it from myself and my therapist. So on that note, I wish you well. You are worthy of love no matter what life throws at you. And yeah, enjoy your day.